Hello, Coffee and Combo listeners. Thank you for tuning in again. I hope you are all well out there. It is your host, Liz Bullard. And this week, we are continuing to look at COVID-19. And we're talking this week about how it's affected and how it's going to continue to affect the job market. Every industry has been hit by this virus. Many people are navigating things like unemployment, how to maintain their business, how to stay competitive at their job in the event that layoffs occur, how to reinvent themselves in a sense. And so this week I'm joined by Kimberly Mitchell. She is the founder, CEO of Young Professional Staffing Solutions, which is a company that helps to educate people on the resources that are out there, help them to be competitive, whether you are young or a young professional or whether you're an older professional trying to re-enter or stay competitive in the market. Her business is here to help. And so she shares her thoughts and her resources that she has found and things that she has done to help people stay competitive. And so stay tuned right after this ad and we'll get right into the episode and right into the conversation. So again, thank you for listening and I hope you all remain well out there. Hi, Coffee and Combo listeners. Here's just a quick ad before we get started. So go and check out and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm if you've ever thought about starting your own podcast. With Anchor, it's completely free to use all the tools. There is no subscription required. So you can create your own podcast from start to finish using the app or website. You also get access to different tools like adding background music when you create your podcast with Anchor. Anchor distributes your podcast with just one click of a button. Your podcast will be available on Spotify, Apple, and many more sites. The bonus with Anchor compared to other podcasting sites is you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So if you're interested in podcasting or you have an existing podcast, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to start using the app and creating your ads and creating your podcast. So as always, thanks for listening and please like, share, and find Coffee and Combos on Instagram and Facebook.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, maybe it was the phone because I forgot that I was on my personal phone
Technology.
earlier. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining.
Well, first, let me thank you for having me. This is truly like amazing. It's such an honor. Thank you, Liz.
No, it's just amazing, what technology can do. And it's just like so easy to connect and have conversation with people.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know what? I got my tea because I don't drink coffee.
So that was going to be my first question to you. So you're not a coffee drinker, you're a tea drinker.
And not at all. I really tried to like coffee because, it's the end thing is what everybody does.
Yeah.
It's something else. It's what adults do. But I just can't do it. I don't understand coffee. I really don't understand it. It does not fit my taste buds at all.
And when I was talking, I had for those of you listening in, a week prior I had Brittany Hayward. She is an entrepreneur herself, with a producer and things in social media, and we were talking about how you could tell a lot about a person's personality through their beverage choice, and you come off as someone very like just calm and relaxed and really zen, so it makes sense that you would like tea.
Yeah, I'm definitely a tea drinker. I've been a tea drinker since I was little. Like my grandmother and my mother introduced me to it. And it's just regular Lipton tea. It hasn't been until recent that I started to get into more of the, the herbal teas and the green teas and things like that. But it's basic tea with lemon. And well, I've switched over to honey, to get rid of, to get away from the white stuff. But
that sugar, but like I love the honeys as well. It's for me, tea is almost just as much about the honey.
Yes. So I've definitely grown to appreciate that in the last few years as well.
Yay. Well, again, welcome. Thank you for those listening. And I am joined by Kimberly Mitchell. She is the founder of Young Professional Staffing. And whoop, whoop, and that is located in New York. And for those listening, you might saying like, well, I thought this was a local podcast and New York is so far from Waterbury, Connecticut. But the issue that we're talking about, which is job searching, is an issue that's going to impact the whole country, if not the world. And so I thought you'd be a really good person to kind of come and talk about this topic.
Okay.
But before we jump into that, please tell me a little bit about Young Professional Staffing. Like, what prompted you to start this and develop this?
Yeah, well, where do I begin? Well, after being in education for 20 years, I just wanted to make a shift. I wanted to, just come out of a system, system and do things a little more my way. And so towards the end of my time in education, in traditional education, I realized there was a lot of things that needed to change. And I could help, basically. And so one of those things was that I noticed there was a huge gap in opportunity and access to employment for young people. Those young people who are coming out of high school, who are coming out of college, very skilled and very ready to enter the workforce. It was just very limited opportunities. And so I said, you know what, I think this is an area that I want to explore, because my time as an educator, I really enjoyed like the hiring process, seeking out new candidates, interviewing people. And then on the flip side, when my kids would come back after they graduated and ask me, well, hey, Ms. Mitchell, can you help me find a job? I would hire some of them, as best as I could. But the other ones I would, send out, to different places. So I really enjoyed that process. And so there it was born. I immediately just started to research that industry, the staffing industry. And I found my little niche, I found my little place there. And so for the last 4 years, my company's going on 4 years old.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I've just been really growing the business, learning about entrepreneurship, and really just doing what I can to help young professionals find jobs.
And I think that's really important, especially when you look at the climate now, where you have a lot of young people who are graduating high school or graduating college. And it's like plans have changed immediately. Jobs that people had lined up now are like either rescinding offers or putting offers on hold, even if it's on an internship basis. There has been this immediate halt to that progress. And so people are going to have to shift, adapt, remarket themselves, and not even just young professionals, but older people as well, those who are seasoned in the workforce. And you also do a little bit of work with them as well, don't you?
Right. So, we help anyone who needs it, in terms of finding employment. If you walk into our office, it doesn't matter what your age, we help you find a job if you need. So that has just been a surprise to me, in terms of the clientele that I see coming into my office more than not is our older people who are looking for employment. They've either been laid off, their job closed, and now they're, left to find something else. They don't have the skills that the company now needs, to fulfill the positions that are more technology based now. So I'm just finding a lot of older people, older women who need jobs. And so I've been, helping them, redo their resumes and sending them, to different places that are hiring. And it's definitely a struggle. It's definitely an eye opener. to say the least.
And that's interesting. You bring in the technology aspect
Mhm.
because now with everyone doing like work from home, technology
Mhm.
based working, there's going to be even more of a push. And, people are talking about going back to work and things like that. But if you really were working and struggling or unable to work because of technology, I think that those people might be in risk of losing their job because now people are going to they're going to be looking at, were you able to maneuver and be creative with technology?
Right. And if you're not, then that's where you find yourself unemployed, because even for those,
Mm.
I can tell you what I can almost envision what's going to happen, which is not good. But
Mm-hmm.
with all these people who are laid off, it'll
Mm-hmm.
give companies an opportunity to clean house, or to
Yep.
make that shift of those older people or unskilled people who they were not able to either train or move out. This is an opportunity for them to do that. And so now, what are all these people going to do? They either going to have to get retrained, go, find a free course somewhere, or pay for a course, or go online and get certified in something that will enhance their skills and meet the needs of the 21st century workplace. We've got to, older people have got to understand that they've got to continuously build their skills, because otherwise they're going to be obsolete. This is a
Yeah.
clear sign. This is a clear sign of what we're moving towards, which is going to be more working from home,
Mm-hmm.
and less going in the office, or just more flexibility of having to go in, unless you are an essential worker that has to be in a facility.
But I think that it is so true because we've seen this. If you look at history, we have
Mhm.
a tragedy, the job market, kind of spirals. People get laid off and they're
Mhm.
forced to reinvent themselves.
Mhm.
And I think that this could be an opportunity that people can start to develop. And like you said, right now, like now is the time to like get yourself versed in um technology while you
Mhm.
are like furloughed or laid off, and
Right.
they're still paying you and you are guaranteed a job for now. Use that opportunity to like, okay, what can I do to either build myself so I can remain in my job
Mhm.
or be an asset when I look for another job.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also I think we have got to think differently about employment, because there are so many. Employment looks different nowadays.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
go to Uber and sign up for Uber, and have a career driving people around, or you can
Mm-hmm.
go and be a shopper, go to Instacart or Shipt, and be a shopper and shop groceries, and or you can do DoorDash, and
Mm-hmm.
and deliver food from restaurant to people. So
Mm-hmm.
these things were not available, you know 10, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And people are actually making a living off of this. Like, they've literally quit their regular jobs and are doing these types of jobs on their own, because one, they have no boss. They are
Mm-hmm.
working for themselves. They're basically an entrepreneur, or I guess a freelancer or something, of that um way. And they're working for themselves and making the same or more money.
And
So,
that's what's so amazing about now, because I think we went through this, this point where it's like people, like I feel like years ago when things were new, were able to kind of like stop drop out of high school and be able to make a living. Then it went to this
mhm,
point where you had to go through college. Then it's
mhm,
like that almost became obsolete. And
right.
then now we're back into that point where it's like, okay, you could quit your main job and
Mhm,
have something that's more flexible, like
mhm,
DoorDash or Uber, and make a living. And I
right.
feel like that's kind of going to be this new shift because everyone may not be able to get hired. Like you touched upon, companies are going to be trying to save money because of this
Mhm,
loss of revenue. So that job that was there may not be there when we go back,
right.
even if we were to open up things today.
Right.
And so I think people are going to have to reinvent themselves. And there's such a market out there, whether it's through even like podcasting, if you really find a niche and then you can really grow
Yeah.
your business, or finding your passion. There's many
Mhm.
ways, and it's going to be interesting to see how many entrepreneurs grow from this.
Right. And
experience.
right. Exactly. And I think that actually is a great place for anyone to be. I'm not just older people, but
Mm-hmm.
anyone to be, because everyone has a skill. Everyone is good at
Mm-hmm.
something. And so there are so many platforms that you can use to help share that information and have
Mm-hmm.
people pay you for
Mm-hmm.
that information. And so, we oftentimes give away so many things for free.
Yeah.
We'll do a free class on sewing, or we'll do a free class on drawing, or something, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And, but if you can monetize that,
Mm-hmm.
why not? Right? Why not monetize it? Like with older people, they have so many experiences, right? Because they've
Yes.
lived a lifetime. How
Yes.
about teaching them how to monetize what they know? And
Mm-hmm.
that could be, their thing, you know? But
Absolutely.
they don't know. They don't know. There's a lot of them are scared of technology. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the one thing I wish we can get them over that fear, because you need it. If there's any lesson from this experience, this COVID experience, is that everyone has to be technologically informed. They have to be skilled in using
Absolutely.
it, because from the phones to the Wi-Fi, computers, to
Mm-hmm.
applying for unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
to now you can get married online, Liz. Liz, now you can get married online. I don't even have to
Listen,
go through all that mess. Let me just find him. Come on, boo boo. We gonna get married online.
listen, someone had posted something about strippers online or strippers through Zoom or something.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that, I said, you do everything online.
Online. Everything is online. Are you kidding me? But I mean, just think of it. Now the kids, they're gonna graduate online.
Yeah.
Graduation is gonna be online this year.
Yeah.
In Unbelievable. Who would have
But
thought that if COVID didn't happen, we would have never in a million years thought to do that.
no, and I think we would have been stunted. Because we always have a generation of people that says, well, I don't know how to use the computer, I don't know how to use this, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to. And this, like you said, has forced, like, there's no more excuse, like, you have
Mm-hmm.
to be able to
No more
use
thing.
technology.
Right. Not only just use it, but have it available in your home. So
Yes.
many people were caught off guard not having Wi-Fi in your home, or having a laptop or a computer.
Yes.
They've been saying that for years. Make sure
Yes.
every home should have a computer. Every home should have a computer.
Hmm.
Every home should have had a computer by now.
And
This is why.
that really hits home for, like, here we saw it a lot with our education system here in
Oh,
Waterbury. We're like, we went from school to being online, and you had
mm-hmm,
households that didn't have computers, and
mm-hmm.
then they had to pass out Chromebooks. Then you went through, like, okay, there's no internet. And so you now have a group of kids who are missing out on the resources that other
Yeah,
people in different areas had. And
right,
so you really stunt yourself by
mm-hmm,
not having that access.
right, right. These are lessons. It will be
Hmm.
different from now on. I guarantee it.
Yes. And even, what, in thinking about, people are thinking, like, okay, well, I have a state job, a federal job, a city job, I'm safe. But
Mm,
that relies on taxpayers. And so if there's
mm-hmm,
not having as much revenue, your job is on the line. So you're not even safe there. So you have to think about marketing yourself and making yourself ready for your next
mm-hmm.
job, or to be an entrepreneur, or how to stay in your job.
Right, and that is so good. You brought that up, because if it's one thing I teach,
Hmm.
is, people need to start learning about entrepreneurship.
Mm.
When people hear entrepreneurship, it's sort of like, taking, learning how to use a computer. They get, oh my God, I
Yep.
can't do it. It takes so much. Okay, but can I tell you this? The same skills, or even the same amount of time that I was putting into working a regular job, is the same skills and time that I put in to run my business.
Mm.
And the thing is that you can run a business on the side, like part time.
Mhm.
You don't have to, be an entrepreneur all by itself, right? You can
Mhm.
have your regular job, yes. But on the side, start building your business, so that if emergencies happen, or just to build financial or generational wealth, or to just have to do something with the hobbies that you have, to monetize them. Start doing it on the side, because 5 years from now, you don't know what's going to happen. 10 years from now, you don't know what's going to happen. And the main thing that we see from this is, when things happen, it hits our communities the worst.
Yes.
And if anything, we got to be able to survive.
Absolutely.
And not depend on government and other organizations. I'm glad they're here, but as you can see, we're always at the ends of the helpline. Well, they'll get to us, they'll get to our communities. And so the entrepreneurship piece is really important. So let's say you did get laid off, but at least you got this side thing going, or at least you've been doing this side business, and you put extra dollars away, so that when the food source runs dry, you have a place to go. Or when when the medicines stop coming, you have some means of getting what you need. And that's the way we really got to start looking at things. Is we got to use this as an eye opener.
I absolutely.
To say, okay, we got to start building. We really got to start building, and we got to start coming together, so that in the next one to come, in the next tragedy to come, we'll be ready. Because absolutely. So if it's lessons that I've learned from this is what it is.
I 100% agree. Because it's really about being self-sufficient. Because at the end of the day, yes, like you said, government is passing out aid and things like that. But, they're also going to want their money back, or our money back, if you want to think about it that way. Right. And it's either going to be through taxes or this implementation. And so you're always going to be in this cycle of trying to keep up. But when you think of, again, entrepreneurship, and that's just monetizing your skill. And like, if your skill is teaching, you might work for someone else, but if you really build your ability to teach, whether it's in a specific subject or anything, you can take that, whether it's online, whether it's at a workplace, you are your own business, whether you are doing that in your own brick and mortar building or at someone else's job. But I think people really should use this as an opportunity to say, what is my skill that I can monetize? And especially kind of flipping to the other spectrum, those that are exiting college, entering into that workforce. Because again, how we saw it a couple of years ago after 9/11 and things, where it was hard for that population to find a job, because the older people had the experience. So jobs didn't want to have to train a younger person. So now as someone that is younger, it's like, okay, what is your skill? You might have went to school for this, but okay, what can you do on the side while you're still looking to build this job there?
Right. Exactly. And the thing is, in terms of, teaching, that's actually one of the things that I do. I created a course, an entrepreneurship course, online. And so I can give you that link later if you want. But,
absolutely. And I will post that with this episode. Please tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a free course. What is it? It's keep-it-moving-consulting.teachable.com. But I'll give it to you so you can post it.
Thank you.
I give you the 10 steps to starting a profitable business, because when I went through the entrepreneurship process about 4 years ago, I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I'm telling you, nothing. And so the one thing that I learned from the whole process is that there's so many free resources available to anyone who wants to start a business. And these free resources are paid for by your tax dollars. And so these are government.
Oddly enough, we don't use them, but like,
don't use them. Let me tell you, I go to some of the office buildings and they're empty. I'm like, this is a fully staffed office and there's nobody here. But these are the federal dollars, state dollars, city dollars. You have small business offices all over the city. Every state has it. The websites are there. The MWBE support. We can talk about that if you want to. But
Yes.
all of these resources and supports are there for free. And so when I started to go through the process, I went to one of the offices, and actually it was an older woman in my community, one of my good friend's mother. She saw me one day and I said, yeah, I'm going to start a business. She said, okay, come with me. I'm going to take you to the office. That's what she did. I would have never gone to the office if she had not taken me. If Charlotte had not taken me, I would have not gone to the office. And I would not have known about all of these free resources.
And I think that's important right there, what you said. It's about connecting with people. Yeah. And too often we withhold information because I'm trying to make it. But we are better together. If this experience isn't teaching us anything, we are better together. And we have to support each other and share information.
Right. Right. And so one of the big pieces of information that I learned is that there's a certification out there for minorities or women who own businesses.
Really?
And so it's called the MWBE, which is the Minority Women Business Enterprise Certification. Now you have to be in business for a year. You don't have to have made a whole lot of money. If you made $2, you're okay. But your business has to be on paper for at least a year. It has to be filed and legal for at least a year. And then you go and you fill out the paperwork for this certification, and the small business office can help you with it. But once you get the certification, you can now do business with the government. So what I didn't know, Liz, is that the government, all this work that the government does, is by small businesses. The small businesses are the ones doing the work. So I thought for some reason, I don't know. I just wasn't taught. So I thought the federal government hired workers to do all of their, no. Yeah. The government hires businesses to do the work. So the businesses hires the workers to do the work. So what was happening all these years is that there was one type of person from from our community, from our country, who was getting all of the contracts, and basically white men. And so white men generally held the large $1 million contracts. Let's say it could be anything: construction, it could be staffing, it could be uniforms, it could be artwork, whatever it is. The white males generally held all of these large contracts because they've been doing it for years. Yes. And so over the years, anytime women, minorities tried to get in, they couldn't, because these contractors already had the contracts. They already had the relationship. They already had the experience. And so small businesses always had a hard time getting in. So this is what I didn't know. This is what I learned, and this is huge. This is what people don't know, is that when the civil rights movement started, when all of our leaders were fighting, we thought it was about, getting, better education, safer communities, access to homes and, things like that. We always thought it was that was the main reason. But the underlying reason was economic development. It was economic power. And so our leaders wanted us to have access to these contracts, to the ability to do the work for the government, because that's how you make the money. That's how you build the business. That's how you build your community. And so this MWBE has been around since then. But you're not hearing about it now because it's law now. They finally got it to be law about, I want to say, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but maybe 20 years ago, it became law, like loosely law, right? It started to enter into the law books. And so now what's happening now across the country, every contract that the federal government puts out, there is a MWBE component to it. Meaning that, let's say a contractor gets a big contractor gets a
Yes.
contract, 100% of the contract, right?
Yes.
And now 30% of that contract must go to an
You're right.
MWBE company. And so what that large company now has to do, they now have
Mm-hmm.
to go and find an MWBE that they're willing to work with. So they no longer can work on them by themselves. They now have to connect with these minority and women-owned businesses to complete the project, or they will not be given the contract.
You're
And
right. And a
so,
lot of these things end up falling like through the cracks, or like people skate by because of accountability, which
right.
really falls on the community to say, hey, there's this contract. And like it, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. So what has happened with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm speaking from experience. I filed for my certification. I received my
Mm-hmm.
certification, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, right before COVID, right before COVID hit, it's just amazing how things happen, because I'm hustling, I'm getting my business
Yep.
up and running. I finally got a contract with
Did
the,
you?
yes, I did. I got a contract with the Port Authority, New York, New Jersey Port Authority, right?
Wow. Uh-huh.
Because I did my certification. Once you do your
Mm-hmm.
certification, you're added to your company is added to the directory, right?
Uh-huh.
And so these big contractors can find you in this directory. So Liz,
Stop.
literally on my birthday last year, I get a call from a company saying, "Hey, listen, we want you to be a part of our contract as the
Who let you do it?
MWBE." Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What? Are you kidding?" And so right before COVID, the work was supposed to start,
Uh-huh.
but we have to put it on hold because everybody's quarantined.
Yes.
But I have a contract all because of the MWBE. And I'm telling you, for real, I would not have had that contract if it was not for the MWBE certification. So
And that's
I'm a poster child
amazing.
for it. Hmm.
That is amazing because, as again, companies, you're not going to be able to just rely on the public to support your business, especially now going forward. Like,
Hmm.
if you can operate by either partnering with other businesses or partnering with the government through the certification, no
Yeah,
matter where you are, that's an awesome, because there's contracts everywhere, whether it's
right.
at the city level, that they have contracts with the state.
Yeah.
So again, no matter where you are, no matter where
Hmm.
you're listening, getting that certification opens you up
Hmm.
to another source of revenue,
Hmm.
to just be more self-sufficient.
Right. And I'm telling you that the main thing with this whole process this is why it's so important to start creating your business now. It's
Hmm.
so that 3 or 4 years from now you are ready for when the next opportunity comes.
Yes.
So even with this crisis, the COVID crisis, it has
Hmm.
brought opportunities for some people
Hmm.
in business, because now you need people to make the masks, you need people to make,
Hmm.
whatever equipment and things. You need people to staff
Hmm.
certain hospitals and things. So it
Hmm.
has actually brought opportunities for some people, and you just want to be
Hmm.
ready. If I'm ready, then I can engage. If you're not
Hmm.
ready, you will never be able to engage. You will never be
Hmm.
able to take part. You will always be on the sideline. So it's important that, okay, you have a full-time job, stay with your full-time job. But on the
Hmm.
side, get that business up and running, get it on paper, get it all the foundation set and everything. And when those opportunities come, then you'll be able to take advantage. That's the key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, for people listening who like are like, hey, like I don't have a business, I'm just starting out.
Okay.
It's like you said, it's simple. And
Mhm.
even if you're like, hey, I don't want to have a business and have that responsibility, look at how you can market yourself. Find that one skill that you have and really develop it, so that way, if there's a layoff, if there's a time where no one is hiring, you
Mhm.
have a skill that you can market on your own and make yourself still able to have an income.
Right. Right. And I think the other important thing that we have to do is another reason why it's important is because we have to be able to teach the next generation about
Absolutely.
entrepreneurship. Because
Absolutely.
we teach them about going to college, we teach them about
Mhm.
getting a job, We teach them all these things, but we don't teach them about entrepreneurship in a grand scheme of things, you know?
No,
And
it's very much go work for someone else, and that's
right, right,
not always possible or what makes you happy.
right, exactly. And so entrepreneurship is a pathway to employment. Working for
Yes.
somebody is not just the only pathway to employment. You can work for yourself
Mhm.
and be happy and be
Mhm.
prosperous and be a member of the community and all these things. You know, working for
Mhm.
someone is not the only way. You know, and
Mhm.
so we've got to get out of that mindset because
Mhm.
look what happened, right?
Yep.
All of us, you know, we're frontline workers, you know, largely Black community, minority communities, we're
Mhm.
on the front
Yep.
line and we got hit the hardest because
Yes.
we're showing up to work every day and getting
Yes.
sick and, you
Yes.
know, but if you can work from your home, if you can work on your own, you wouldn't have to set yourself up for that,
No.
you know? And
You're absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah. You know, so it's just, you know, there are other options. That's all I'm saying.
You know what?
You
But that's true. Like the more options, the more things that you develop, it just it lets you have a better opportunity to have a more secure um, future.
know? Hmm.
It's just like, when you're going to college and you're in school and things like that. You have to have options. And bringing it back to a more local level, we kind of talk about that a lot within the city here in Waterbury about building up trade schools and things like
Hmm.
kids other opportunities,
Right.
because everyone is not going to college. But
Right.
I think that would also be something interesting to incorporate, especially being in an area where there's not a lot of opportunity as far as having multiple companies and things within our local city. You know, being
Hmm.
able to teach kids about entrepreneurship in middle and high school could open them up to so many more opportunities and
Hmm.
opportunities for us within a city.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And the thing that you can do, see, things are so different now because 20 years ago, when I was growing up, let's just say that when I was growing up, if you didn't have resources in your community, that was it. Like that
Mm-hmm.
was it. You had no other way of accessing that. With this whole internet thing now,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can access the information you need. So this summer, no, not this summer, February, I was in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Colombia on a girls' trip. My one of my good friends was turning 50. So we were in Colombia. Now, Colombia is, you know, a growing country, you know, but a lot of poverty, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so, you know, a lot of blacks, you know, the blacks there living like poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to one of the villages of the one of the original African tribes that was, you know, brought to Colombia and
Mm-hmm.
visited, you know, the village.
Mm-hmm.
We're walking through the village of huts and dirt roads, and the boy sitting in front of the house was on his cell phone. I said, he had no shoes on, dirt roads, no um uh you know, street lights or anything like that, but he's on his cell phone. I said, look at this. This is amazing. So
That
no matter where you are now, you can access the information. So if you want to learn about entrepreneurship, go online and type it in the link, you know, type it in the box and learn about entrepreneurship. If you want to learn about coding, you know, there are free courses you can take for coding. If you want to learn about anything, you can learn about it online. So there's no excuse anymore. No, your school does, you know, the school doesn't have the programs. Okay, go online and find it. And you can get that information very easily.
And I think that's very important because sometimes we get to like, well, the school has to teach, this one has to teach,
So,
being at the mercy of someone else. But I think the moral of all this is you have to be self-sufficient and independent, and you have to go out there and get the information because the information is out there, but it requires you connecting with people. It requires you
mhm.
searching for the information. It's not going to just drop into your lap. You have to, be hungry enough for it.
Right. You know what? You just got to be curious. If you're curious about it, if you have a question about it, if you wonder about it,
Mm-hmm.
with, for kids, of course, with your adults' permission or with their guidance,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and connect to some company or some person who is doing that work online, because it's all there. It's
Mm-hmm.
really there. Like I said, the entrepreneurship piece, I've actually created a YouTube channel which is called Career Ed, and I will be posting videos about entrepreneurship there. But what I have up now are videos that teach young people about getting through the interview process when they go for jobs. So, I don't have to hold a workshop in my office anymore. And that's the thing. All of that stuff of how we knew it, of going to a workshop here, going to a training here,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff is not going to exist anymore. Everything is going to be online.
It
So
saves so much money for the company. It really does. They don't have to pay for mileage. To light building and all this. It really does save money at the end of the day, especially if you're a smaller company.
right, it does. And you can build your followership. Look, you got people on these, on social media with millions of followers.
Yes.
They do a makeup commercial, they do a makeup work training. They
Yep.
got millions of followers
Mm-hmm.
who now know how to do makeup because they watched the tutorial
Mm-hmm.
on the. So that's where it is.
Mm.
So go online, type in what you're looking for, and watch the video. Watch the information. You know, I mean, unless it's something that you do need hands on, then of course you're going to have to find a school or a class or something, for that. But again, you can actually find out where those classes are online. And I can tell, I'm pretty sure every state has something.
Mm.
They have some sort of training class or workshop or series. And a lot of times you don't even know about it because they don't advertise it, like they should. A lot of things that are put together are last minute, so you won't even hear about it. But if you was, searching online, you might find it.
Thank
So,
you so much. You have just been a wealth of knowledge. I'm sure everyone listening, just don't keep it to yourself.
no,
Share
no.
with someone else. Be a support to your local business because whether you or someone else can definitely use this knowledge. If you are, a minority, definitely I will post the information about it's the MWBE, you know,
Yes. Hmm.
and that's just amazing. So please, well, I have a special new segment, but before I get to that segment, tell the listeners, do you have anything going on? Tell us anything you would like to know about your business, how we can reach you, all that good stuff.
Okay. So this is good because this is the first time I'm doing it. So I'm going to read it from my page. Okay. So the name of my company is Young Professional Staffing Solutions. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at YPS Solutions. Our website is youngprostaffing.com. There you can access, the job board. I try my best. I really do try to do a newsletter, things like that. I also have, I do consulting. So my consulting business is called Kim Consulting. And you can find me on Instagram at Kim underscore consulting. And then I have a YouTube channel, which is called Career Ed. That is where you can find the videos on the interviewing skills. And for the entrepreneurship free class, the 10 steps to kickstarting your business, where I give you all the information that you won't get from attending like a workshop on how to start a business. Because there's a lot of those out there.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the other stuff they don't tell you. Like this is all the other stuff I had to figure out, on my own, which I'm sitting there like, why didn't they just tell me this when I was taking the class?
Mm-hmm.
But I put it all into 10 steps. And literally, if you follow these 10 steps, you'll be ready to launch your business. And you can do the 10 steps in a week, a month, a year, however long you want to, it takes for you to do it. But if you follow those 10 steps, you'll be ready to launch your business. So that's going to be at, like I said before, kim-it-moving-consulting.teachable.com. And so,
and if anyone has missed that, it's going to be in the bio section. So you'll have all that. And so, um, listen, do you have any books coming out? I
no,
mean, to look.
not yet. Oh my Lord, no, not yet. Not. Let me tell you, if I write a book, I think the first book I'm going to write is a children's book, because like I do go into schools and I do teach, do the entrepreneurship workshops, but
Mm-hmm,
I really like working with kids. I'm an educator. I still am an educator,
mm-hmm.
but I would do a children's book first. So because I just need to be happy. I don't need to be stressed.
I love that. And I think, people definitely, we say a lot about going back to normal, but really look at what is it that you need to be happy. And
Hmm.
we didn't take anything away, what do you need to be happy?
Right, exactly. And this makes me happy, Liz,
Mm,
talking about this stuff. I really so appreciate this platform. I
I
think you
love
I,
it.
I think you're doing amazing. This is
Thank you
I
so
Liz,
much.
I'm in my bedroom with my tea, and I had a donut. I said, let me go get my tea and donut. Like, we're really having just a conversation. And
And
this
that's all it is.
Yeah, this is so amazing. And I think a lot of people will like this more because it's not, formal. We're not in a suit and tie, and it's not she foo foo. It's just information. And
That
so thank you. Thank you for this platform.
No, thank you. And then my last question for you,
Mhm.
the coffee and convo, our new segment is what's in your cup? And so this is going to be three things, and it could be
Mhm.
literal or figurative, that
Mhm.
you're going to put in your perfect cup. And so for you, you said tea. So like I'll give you an example. Like for me, I'm going to put in my perfect cup today, the three things is I'm going to put in joy, I'm going to put in I'm going to put in faith, and I think spark, because I'm so energized from our conversation. I think that's what I need today to really push forward to really be my best self today. So,
Oh, that's great.
yes.
Well,
So, what are your three things that are in your perfect cup?
well, I always have to do this. I have to give, and my cup will be my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Mm,
That is my number one always, because without him, I would not be where I am today.
mm,
And I have to, that's number one. Number two is family,
mm,
because I did all this so that I could be with my family. I left all of the stress, I left all of the systems behind so I could be with my family.
mm-hmm,
And I guess, happiness,
mm,
because that's really what it's about. I want to be happy,
mm.
and so, yeah, happiness, family, and Jesus.
I love it. So, for those of you listening, think about what is your perfect cup? What do you need to get through this day, and put it in your cup and take a sip of it whenever you need it.
Yes.
But thank you so much. Again, I was sitting today with Kimberly Mitchell, founder of Young Professional Staffing Solutions. Her contact information will be in the bio. Thank you again. And I hope this is not the last time that you have a conversation here on Coffee and Convos.
Yes, absolutely. Please have me back anytime.
Stay well and be blessed.
Thank you, Liz. You too.
Bye.
All right, bye bye.